Hey y'all, what's going on? Alright, week 40 numbers. First we'll do that and then I'll run my mouth. I just ran my mouth for 30 minutes and I just need to start posting what I run. I don't know. Does it matter? Probably not. So, week 40 numbers. Total revenue was $39,2956. Fixed expenses were $11,5405, and variable expenses, which were huge, were $12,8168. Total on 2,779 miles. The total profit per mile was 54 cents a mile. Profit per day was about $213.40 a day, and total expense was about 88 cents a day. My average runs around, 88 cents a mile. That's actually better than what I've been doing. I guess because I ran a little bit higher on the revenue. Because even though I spent $1,200, it's $1,260.11 on gas. Yeah, I ran like crazy, but I didn't fill back up at the end of week 39. Fuel was only $6.73. So between the two, it was what, $19.33, which is average. So I'm usually doing like $18.20 or something like that. So usually about $900 or so a week. Total income per mile was $1.41. A measly $1.41 per mile, which isn't too shabby, I guess. I did also get some wiper blades for $4.37 from the OC in Atlanta. That added to it. So, 54 cents a mile profit. And this week's shaping up to be a decent week. Now, let me turn this off. I've got my gripe. I don't know. I don't have a gripe. Hang on a minute. I want to show y'all something. So I know some of y'all have the P4, and you see the light. Watch the light. Okay, ambient light. Press the switch and it comes on. Hold the switch down and it dims. Now, what I found the other day, because I was just screwing around, if you hold it down until it dims completely off, and then keep your finger on it, bam, the minute it comes back on, because you never know when it's going to go off. I'll be sitting there going 1001, 1002, and I'm always wrong. Well, not always. Now I don't have to worry about it, because that right there, that's the dimmest setting of the light, other than off. Okay, the second dimmest setting of the light. So for Miss Technical out there, if you happen to be watching this, you engineer, you. So, yeah, I like that feature. That's kind of cool. I was at the Atlanta OC. I told them about my cruise control issue where it goes off every time it shifts gears, and the volume control on the radio that doesn't work. Yeah, it doesn't have volume control on the steering wheel. It's a 2020. It does. Even my 19 company truck had it. Unless your company truck was a previous IC truck, it won't have it. Yeah, it will. All the new P4s got it. I don't know if the K-Dubs or the Pete's got it, or the Internationals, but the P4s do. They're trying to make the drivers feel at home. So he said he'd have to schedule a thing, and I said, well, I don't have time. I got 4 hours and I got to go, and he didn't have that much time, so or that little time. He didn't even know if he had a technician there that could fix it. So, excuse me. Anyway, got my new phone. This week I ran to Atlanta on Monday. I took a run going to McDonough. Jaja. And I was like, you know what, babe? You want to get that computer going online, and I want my new phone, and I want my SD cards for my camera. So I got a trip here that's going to Statesboro, Georgia, and it pays decent. Let's do it. So I ran that load. Almost made it all the way, but it wasn't due till the next day. So I had to turn around and go to a different truck stop 5 miles down the road because the one I was shooting for was too full for me to maneuver my butt into the hole. So sometimes it just doesn't work out. Anyway, so I watched the other video. This is so clear. I mean, I don't know how my other phone was doing, but I see the grains on there, and even on this chair back here, it seems like everything is in focus, like if you would be looking at it, except for like the brightness outside. The tree was actually working better. It takes really good pictures too. Has a really good camera on it. I like the camera on it. I think it's comparable to the Pixel 3 XL I had. Mind, I'm trying to make a video here. So I'm in Martin, Kentucky, because I picked up a load in Newton, North Carolina. So okay, let me do it this way. I went home. I went to drop the pallets off at. It was funny because it was a pallet load, right? And you're like, about 40,000, 35,000 pounds of pallets is what you're thinking. And I got out there and I pulled away from the dock, and they're all the way in the front of the trailer. There was like, I don't know, 143 or something. There was 3 on the back, on the very back. And then the rest were stacked to the ceiling in the front, about maybe a third of the trailer, if that. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, if this was me, like when I used to work the dock, that back stack would have been broken in half, and that way there'd be less sliding going on of the pallets. I don't care if the people don't like it where it's going. That's the way I run it, because I would rather have the driver know it's a secure load as well as anybody else on the road. Okay. Anyway, so I dropped that load off on Tuesday morning and went to get some breakfast at the Huddle House. While I wait on the wife to get there, I didn't wait on her. We both ate breakfast there. Brought the computer out and hooked her up with the phone, and got my phone activated, even though it was giving me issues. They put their own APN settings in there, and it wouldn't take the APN settings I put in under a different setting, so I had to redo their setting, which is kind of stupid. I mean, personally, I want that APN as well as the new one I'm putting in there. That way, if the new one I'm putting in there and it doesn't work, I can still go back to the old one and still at least have calls. So OnePlus, get your act together, guys. No, it's a good phone. It's a good phone, man. You can see all my wrinkles. Every single one of them. So we sat there. I didn't have a load after this because the load I was looking at never confirmed. There was 2 loads. We had a back-to-back. We had like 5 loads, and the first 2 needed to confirm, and then like the 5th one needed to confirm, or something like that. So they never confirmed. The first 2 did not confirm. Finally, she had to go eat lunch with the ladies in her the thing she's doing for church that she's been convicted to do. And I found a load going, paying good money. I don't remember what it was. It was like 2 something, maybe. It was paying good money going up to North Carolina, and then this load going from North Carolina to Kentucky. So I booked both of those, and this last one was like $240 a mile. That wasn't the overall, but I know that was like from destination to endpoint. So it was like, I think it was right a hair over 2 or right at 2 for that. So I'm figuring out how to pick my loads. I changed my pattern of searching. Changed the dates I was using, the variables. I changed them just a little bit because we found some loads that weren't showing up on one of her searches, but they were showing up on mine because I had a broader search. So anyway, I booked those loads, and now I'm sitting in Martin, Kentucky without a load again. And I'm looking back at some old posts from James Fox and a couple other guys that say they book by the day. Like, they won't even have a load backing them up, and they'll stop for the day, just book one that night or the next morning. But I had watched, the day before I watched a video. Can y'all hear that? So the day before I watched a video, hang on, and it cut it off instead of keeping it in the pause mode. Well, that sucks. Anyway, the day before, I watched a video by SBERGER, who drives for us. I think he still drives for us. And he said, patience is one thing in this game that everybody needs to have. You gotta have patience. And my wife kept egging me on. We gotta get you a trip after this, and we couldn't find nothing, and our loads weren't confirming. So I'm like, you know what? Don't worry about it, babe. If I have to sit here and do a reset, I'll do that. Whatever, I don't care. I'm gonna come home for a little while. So I found those loads right after she left. I think I got it figured out for you. Oh, she might have some loads figured out. Good. Anyway, so where was I going? Train derailment. I told her, I said, look, you just watched that video? She's like, I watched part of it. I said, oh my God, watch all the video. Have some patience, basically. She's one of the worst when it comes to patience. So right after she left, I grabbed those 2 loads. They popped up because I told her, I said, look, some of these loads don't populate until anywhere from 10 until 2 or 3 in the afternoon, because these people, they get there in the morning, and that's when they start looking for loads. That's when they start looking for people to haul their products sometimes. So sure enough, that's what happens. And I booked those 2 loads, and they're good paying loads. Now I got to get out of here. So if I got to wait, I got to wait. But I think I found one that's going to be 700 that I'm going to take to get to Bowling Green and then get further into the west for the last week. There was a couple of good ones out there, but they were dropping on Monday. And I told her, I was like, I'm not spending. One of them was to Michigan, and the other one, actually a few of them went to Michigan. They were really good paying loads, but I got to get there in a day. I'm not going to go drive up there in a day and do a reset in Michigan. I don't want to do that. And I might have to, but I'm already having a good week. Why would I want to break that up, you know? Unless, you know, I can get like $2,100 to get 4,000. Yeah, that ain't happening. That not going that way. I had to go to New York or something. Anyway, so yeah, patience paid off on that one. And dude, James Fox and a couple others, they said, look, one of them said it took me a while to get out of that mindset. You sit here and you want to book a week out, but you don't really have to. I mean, you can. You do have 2,400 other people you're competing with, but you got to consider at least 50% of those guys are booking their loads a week out, sometimes 2, because they know where other loads are popping up that pop up on a regular basis at a certain day, a week out, or 4 days out, or 3 days out. I don't know all that. I might just start running day to day. I mean, I'm not really concerned about, my money stream doesn't have to be super high. I mean, I like it to be well off, but, you know, I think it'll be just fine the way it is. Everything's working out so far really good. I mean, there you go. And actually, I got more than $1.41 a mile last week, because some of those miles I drove on Monday. I drove 289 of those miles or whatever it was on Monday to get that load from Atlanta all the way to Statesboro. So technically I probably made about $1.50, $1.55 a mile, but I gotta count those off of this week if I do that. So, you know, take both the weeks, add them together, and then figure out what I got over those 2 weeks. Because this is the first week of the next quarter and the first week of this month, right? So, you know, it'll all balance out anyway in the end. And I know I said before, let your money work for you as far as interest and them holding on to your money and stuff. And I didn't know it, but we do get paid interest for the money that sits in our escrow account or our MMA account, or both, because I got like $10.50 for the for the third quarter interest. So I'd like to see what kind of percentage we're getting on that. So I might plus it up a little bit. I just like to have control of my money when I need it, and not have somebody sit here and say, we can't give you that right now. It's my flipping money. It's not your money. It's mine. I don't care what you put it in. You got a high revenue stream because you're taking more than 35% out of my pocket. But you guys, I don't know. The other video was super long. I had no reason to make it that long. It was 30 minutes. I just ran my mouth about a bunch of crap. I got my SD cards, I got my phone. I showed you the light. You know, I need to just write down what I want to say and then say it real quick and I'm done, right? There's really not that much to talk about. It's always the same thing. Winter weather's coming, fellas. Oh, yeah. Loud CB's coming too. Yeah. Anyway, that's about it, people. I can't think of anything other than, hey, if you come to Paintsville, Kentucky, make sure you got enough time to get out. The Lowe's across from the Walmart down there, next door to our customer that we deliver to, they got signs all over the parking lot saying no overnight parking, even though some people have said they've been there and they haven't been bothered. And also, unbelievable. Also, if you go there to that supply company, you better Google it, because Jill will not take you to the right location. It is before you get there. You'll turn off of whatever that road is she brings you from, if you're coming from Pikeville area, and it'll be on the right side before you get to 3rd Street. I went in there, I pulled in, and then I wrapped myself around. I went into the second entrance, not the first entrance. It's best to look at that one on Google Maps if you go there. They pay really good money. It was $2.40 a mile before, did I say that? Or was that last video? It was $2.40 a mile before the mileage to the pickup. So it ended up being a good run. It's a good run so far. Good week so far. Y'all keep the left door closed. Keep the hammer down.